I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Yum, yum.
Hi, Ryan.
Hello, Rachel.
How are you?
I am feeling smart. How about yourself?
I'm feeling disappointed in my brother.
What? Did they abandon you by going to a really clever school where they'll become a hero in their mind?
No,
No?
he just hasn't replied to my message.
Maybe it's because he's abandoned you to go to a really clever school where he'll train to be a hero in his mind. Maybe that's what he's up to.
The dude failed out of like 3 university courses before eventually getting a degree.
You know how he got that degree?
Forced learning?
Compressed learning is what they called it in this episode of Killjoys.
Well, we don't actually have that.
Are you sure? AI is pretty strong nowadays. Maybe we can just download everything into the old brain chip that they put in us when we get our inoculations. Oh, yeah.
God.
Yes, but we are back here today to talk about an episode of Killjoys here on Yum Yum Podcast. I am Ryan and that's Rachel. We are a married couple who just loves talking about episodes of science fiction television, and we have done so much. We started out with Star Trek Discovery, which is what inspired us. That's where the name Yum Yum came from. We've done Babylon 5, Space Above and Beyond the Expanse, even some of Dune, but we are here to look at and discuss Killjoys, a series I have seen before and is completely new to you, Rachel. Is that right?
Yes.
And what an episode we have today. We are up to Season 2, Episode 4, Schooled. As in a school, not like you are being schooled in rap, but you're being schooled as in education, Rachel.
Yes.
And do you want to hear the summary for this episode?
I do want to hear your summary of this episode.
It's short and sweet and to the point because this episode is short and sweet and to the point, relatively
Does
speaking.
that mean that I'm not going to get a meanwhile?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Team Awesome Force is assigned to take some children to a special school, but not everything is as it seems. Meanwhile, everyone's favorite ship, Kleinsicle, which is Fancy and Klein, are on the loose.
But no gloose.
No gloose is loose that we're aware of. Maybe that's what's on Davin's home planet. Maybe that's why he's immune to the green goo, is because of the Hypernaut's gloose DNA.
We don't know yet.
We
well,
don't.
you know.
I know.
You know, I don't know.
Look, am I saying the key to understanding Killjoys is to watch the short-lived children's sci-fi series Hypernauts, which features a little puppet friend called the Gloose?
Well, puppet NCG.
Yeah, I'm saying that. I'm saying that the Gloose is the key to all of this.
Do you think the Mossipede would be friends with the Gloose or just eat it?
Who would eat who?
I think who would win in a fight?
Who's the top? The Gloose or the Mossipede? The answer is much more shocking than you think it will be.
Wait. Where's the... What did he call it, the gloose? It's gone.
It's a pity. Roasted gloose is delicious.
But we're having a laugh already. And with Killjoys, there's always some laughs to be had. And although this was a much more low-key episode, there was still a lot of funny things that happened. And Rachel, what was the yum-yum laugh moment for you?
There were a lot of good quips, but none that gave me like a really solid laugh.
Chemistry's a bitch, and so am I.
That was a contender. But the one that I think I'm going to remember as being like from this episode or for this episode is Del Shitza.
The baddest bitch of the quad. We got 2 bitches. Those were the 2 bitches. Mine is also Del Saya related. It is I miss us hate flirting. I miss our hate flirting. And the kiss that we got later in the episode, and just how they play with that, with the lip, and then just, I enjoyed, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy that. It's like, it's not three truths, Killjoy. Oh, those skips.
You loved her.
Don't we all?
You
She was dressed as a Dracula.
You got so excited when she popped up on those screens, giving the little intro.
Oh my god, giving her propaganda totalitarian school video. That was a great touch. And yeah, Dulcea's back, and she wore a cloak with a big popped collar where she looked like a Dracula, and then there was discussions about stealing blood and drinking the blood of the innocent to remain young, and I'm just like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with this character. They know exactly what they're
no
doing.
nut shots this episode.
That's tragic.
We got a pretty close-up shot of Dutch's crotch, though, in Davin's face.
That's not the same, though.
No, but I just thought that it was worth mentioning.
Surprisingly horny episode up top, and then it dialed it back way down, and then randomly way up at the end when Alvis mixed the whole thing of, like, I'll look after this kid, but also I'm a sexy guy.
Now
like,
I don't even want to give the count.
Oh, please, the count. The count of Since Nutshots?
Since Nutshots 2.
2 episodes, because it was in the premiere.
Yes.
No, second episode. Second episode. Incorrect. Sorry about that.
Yeah, because we're up to episode
4.
4, yeah.
Yes. But let's talk about who was behind this episode of Killjoys, the writer and the director team.
Let's start with the director.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I feel like we've got more confusion when it comes to the writer.
Boy, do I.
The director of this episode is Ruba Nada. 44 credits on IMDb. Mostly one-off directorial roles. And this one is the first of 2 episodes that she does for Killjoys.
The next will be in season 3. She started out doing films primarily, a lot of short films, but then feature films as well. And she wrote a good handful of those films that she directed.
I enjoyed a number of the titles of those short films. One was just Slut. And
Gay the musical, yeah. Slut was actually one of the shorts. Very good.
And another one that I liked was like, I would endure cold hands for you.
She, looking through her film work and her writing work, there's a lot of recurring themes and ideas, and certain actors as well. So her feature debut was Saba, which deals with a Muslim woman falling in love with a man that is not of the faith and culture, and that's the story.
She herself is an Arab woman.
Yes, and that's very important. That film, one of the lead actors is the same person, Sean Doyle, who played Ehrenreich in The Expanse, one of our favorite performers in that show. And so it's nice to see his
network
name.
Continues.
It sees that, but then her films that follow afterwards are very, very much tying into this idea of like, here's this couple who meet in Egypt, and he's from there, and he's a retired cop, and she's from elsewhere, and will their love work, will it not? For that film, that is Cairo Time, and the film after it, Inescapable, the lead actor is Alexander Siddig, Julian Bashir from Deep Space Nine. And so a lot of her film work very much centers in on female characters falling in love with people from a different walk of life than them, and very much centering in on Muslim faith and culture and things of that nature, which I find very cool and interesting.
My impression was that she does TV work for the paycheck.
That's how it looks just from
And
how you look at the IMDb. It seems like
yeah,
do a bunch of TV
because-
shows, then a movie. Bunch of TV shows, then a movie.
Yeah, especially because it seems like she's more involved in multiple aspects of the films that she directs/writes than like just one off. Oh, I'll do this one and this one and this one.
And when it comes to
the TV shows,
yeah, and when it comes to her style in Killjoys, it is not show-offy at all. It's very
No.
pedestrian. Not to say it's boring, but there's
it plays it safe.
It's not flashy. It's very low-key,
But
which matches what this episode needs of it. She does what the episode needs of it.
appreciated the way that, like, her style comes through, but in a soft and gentle way, which honestly I kind of prefer when it comes to like these guest directors, because when they come in all guns blazing, it
can be a lot.
It can be a lot because it can be really difficult to understand the geography of things.
She definitely is an actor's director as well, because I thought the entire cast gave some of their best performances in this episode, especially Luke McFarlane. He gets a lot to work with in this episode.
But directing the kids,
yeah, they weren't bad. They were all
I think,
pretty decent
I think
child
Jake
performers.
gave a really solid performance. Like, for a kid, it didn't feel forced or jilted. It felt natural. It felt comfortable.
He wasn't a precocious child, and he wasn't an innocent lamb
No.
either. So the writing definitely helps make the child more tolerable. And I found out something interesting about that actor. He's still working, still at it, but he was in 12 Monkeys as the son to the actor who plays Turin. Yeah, they were father and son in that series. So that was a nice discovery, because I wanted to see if this child actor, both of them were still working. He's still working. The other one's a little bit more slowed down, but his brother Olin in this, he's a little bit more slowed down, but Jake is still at it. But we said there was a bit of a mystery with the writer of this episode.
Yeah, which makes us think that there was some production shenanigans, changes and shifts, because there's no credited writer for this episode on IMDb or in the credits. Ryan checked. So we'll be talking about who is credited with the teleplay.
They're also a story by, and I think a story editor.
Yes.
Here's the truly confounding thing. 4 separate people are credited with some aspects of the writing process, but none of them are credited as written by. There's story by, story coordinator, story editor, teleplay. So we have to go with the one who did the teleplay as well as story by and story editor. Like they have the most, but it was just so strange, because when you see that, you just say, oh, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen today. But the shocking thing is this episode doesn't feel like there's all of these hands.
It doesn't feel messy in that way.
It's actually one of the more straightforward episodes we've had. There was an A-B plot. The B plot wrapped up relatively early and tied into the A plot at the end.
I'll get into more of my thoughts of the writing when we start talking about the episode itself. But who wrote the teleplay in the end, Ryan?
Well,
you haven't said his name.
Mr. Julian, how would we pronounce this last name? Doucette?
Doucette.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to assume that it's
if I've got
French
it wrong.
Canadian.
So the writer here is Julian.
French.
Thank you. So the writer here is Julian Doucette, and his work mainly is on Killjoys as a story editor.
Yes.
And then producer. He is like a executive.
And he's produced other things too in the TV realm.
Not too much though. A lot of it ties back to mainly Killjoys stuff. Even a lot of the photos of him on IMDb is him on set in Killjoys. He also does some acting work on Killjoys later on, some voice work.
He also worked on Hudson and Rex, which is an overlap with a previous writer or director.
The director of this also did Hudson Rex.
Yeah.
Hudson and Rex.
He created I think it was a show called St. Nickel, What do you think St. Nichols about, Ryan?
Is it a hospital drama?
Nope.
Oh, that would have been my guess.
Mm-mm.
What is it?
A strip club.
Oh, okay. I love to hear that.
St. Nicol is the name of the strip club that's like caught between these like warring factions and a gang.
Okay, I'll be covering that next.
The best stripper, or like I think they say exotic dancer,
Please get it right.
is trying to save the strip club.
Le management, c'est pas vraiment ton style.
Oh non, check-moi ben aller.
I appreciated the simplicity of the A-B plot, but it goes back to a criticism that I've had of other shows that I describe as the episode feels like it's the cue card that they filled out when they were doing the timeline for the season. It's like, this is the episode where they find out where the transmission went to.
Delsea is reintroduced.
Yeah. We get the genetic seed bank idea. And some stuff between, like, we're continuing the tension between Dutch and Davin, or the jealousy of Davin, because Dutch seems unaffected, and a reconnection with the Jacoby brothers being brothers.
And Potter and Johnny
And it's
blossoming
it's
into
just
something.
like, it feels like a series of dot points. But as you're going through it, it's like fun, it's fine enough. But it doesn't elevate beyond those list of dot points too much. It's like, oh, that was good and that was good. But it's just like, well, it boils down to just the dot point.
I enjoyed this episode just fine.
Yes, fine is the word for this episode.
The initial premise could have led to some rather lackluster material. Our gang has to look after a bunch of small children. That could have gone real bad, but it doesn't. What this episode does focus in on that alleviates some of those dot points, as you say, for myself, is that it takes a rather low-key approach to things. It's much more homely of an episode. We have a mystery to solve. We have bad guys to fight.
This is them in their comfort zone for the most of it, because they're going in and they're doing a warrant.
And it's mainly consisted of scenes of people talking to each other in rooms, which is what I want. I want more of that than kicking and running and gunning and fighting all of the time. And we do get that still in this episode, but it's treated as less important than the interpersonal dramas. So, although this episode is not the greatest episode, it is something that we have been wanting, which is something that's far more small in its scope, but it doesn't negate the fact that this is still an ongoing story.
Yeah, it's a piece of the puzzle. A praise that I do want to give to this episode that I mentioned at the end of our reaction was how all of the pieces come together, and there's multiple points where you think something was set up and paid off in the one scene, but it's actually a setup for something later on, but it doesn't immediately twinge as, oh, they're doing that for that. But some other points do have that, like leaving the kids with Alvis on Leith. It's like, well, they're going to stay there until they need them again when this kicks off or when this needs to happen.
It's an asset for later
it's
on.
Just
or
somewhat being fridged.
This episode dabbles in shipping. There's a lot of discussions about who should be with who. Are people keeping it platonic or people getting involved with one another? Are you in love with this person or are you just friends? I'm here to guard them, but actually I'm here to love them. And Johnny and Potter is an example of that, in which Potter has been taken by some mysterious force after she left Spring Hill and saved herself, and Johnny is assigned the job to go find her. And we have, over the course of several episodes, seen Johnny and Potter paired together and have a slow bubbling chemistry and spark between the two of them. And this is an episode that brings that very much to the forefront. Johnny finds her. She's been kidnapped or taken away by some rogue bandits, and she's saving herself as he enters, which I appreciate and very much like. And then they have to fight their way out of there. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is the discussions that they have with each other throughout the episode, because it very much is about them getting to know each other and getting to understand one another.
Yes. And before we fully get into that, I want to just acknowledge that even though it is a very simple moment of Johnny walking in and Porter saving herself, that immediately makes this so much better than the time that she went to jail.
Okay. You had to get your digs in. She got herself up just off screen that one time.
Yeah, but it's like it didn't take that much effort.
She's the brains and he's the muscle in this moment. That's the truth of it. She's the brains and he's the muscle, when usually he is the brains and or the heart of Team Awesome Force and the other people are the muscles.
He thinks his way out of the situation.
Yes, but he also uses it through brute force, which is the delightful part of it. But I like them. I think they have a good chemistry. And what I like about them as a duo, as people who are together in episodes, is that they get to know each other through action. It's not just talking. They do things. They use their skills and expertise to help inform one another about their professional backgrounds, but also about their personal backgrounds. Most of this is them fiddling with wires and doing technobabble, but it doesn't feel as soulless as that, because what they are physically doing is giving us information about themselves, but also to each other. And that's like the exciting part, at least for me, when it comes to the early stages of romance in stories, is the getting to know each other part of relationship building.
The slow build is nice as well, because with Dutch and Davin, there was an immediate spark that they were fighting. And with Johnny and Porter, it's them slowly uncovering that there might be something there. And it's a really sweet moment, weirdly, when Davin's just like, nah, like, you and Johnny, huh? You and Johnny?
Maybe. Maybe you two.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's all right. I like also that...
Because he's busy being jealous when it comes to Alvis and Dutch.
Yeah. And we have that moment as well when she is discussing her relationship and previous encounters with Dulcea and being a part of the elite and being part of the Nine. And Johnny likes that she's always been this chaotic, that she's always been this vindictive and dangerous of a person. It's thrilling to him.
Chemistry's a bitch, and so am I.
Because Johnny himself is reckless and can be a bit of a wild card, and he loves to use his engineering and science background to do things like she did with her chemistry and science background to screw people over that get in her way. And although that sounds like an extreme thing to say, this is a jovial moment, and I really liked it. And another thing too that's really refreshing is Dutch doesn't like Potter. That's been established. She doesn't like her. She doesn't trust her. She's an unprofessional being, and she is a civilian.
A liability.
And a liability. But that does not mean that she's heartless and cruel and is just going to be getting in the way of things for Johnny and Potter. Because I really like that they have such a kinship Johnny and Dutch, where she can take him aside and say, this is my situation when it comes to her. I don't like this, but I'm going to allow it. But you have to promise in return that you aren't going to get so infatuated that you screw things up. And he promises, and guess what happens? He stays true to that. There's no, oh, Johnny screwed up in this because he had goo-goo eyes.
He thought with his dick and he fucked everything up. Oh, no.
Does not happen in this episode. He does not lose Dutch's trust or respect in this episode when she asked for it. And so I think that further solidifies why the Johnny and Dutch dynamic is one of the strongest, because it feels one of the most honest and true. But I wanted to get your takes on Davin and how he feels and his growing journey with the Potter character, because he has discussions with Dutch about Potter as well.
Yeah, and I enjoy the way that is evolving in an interesting way of they're both, like both Dutch, Davin, and Porter to an extent are trying to acknowledge their past while also downplaying its importance, significance, and ongoing meaning. Because it's like, oh no, that's done. It doesn't matter anymore. But all of them in different ways are like, oh, but it does kind of still matter, and it is kind of weird still.
Because there was an unhealthiness there. And was that addressed? And does moving on to Johnny and letting Johnny have this fix that? And also the worry of, will that transfer to him?
Is Porter capable of having a healthy relationship? We don't know, because she is a drug addict.
And a thrill seeker, and someone who gets off on doing reckless things.
Like, and her being a drug addict is just one solid example of that, right? And
sleeping with her patients for the fun of it. Because she likes to fix broken people, because she herself is broken and can't fix herself. So she likes to she doesn't like to fix broken people. She likes broken people, and then once they're fixed, she's less interested in them. And so if you're getting into a relationship with a person who has that track record, what does that say about you? And they, Dutch and Davin, say, like, Johnny isn't gullible. He isn't dumb like that. He is the heart of our group. I'm the guy who shoots and you're the one who says where to shoot, but he's the one, he's the thinker, he's the feeler, he's the emotional core of us. And do we want to stop him from having that because we are worried about him getting into a relationship with someone that both of us don't like very much? Because Davin makes a point of it to say, like, and she sleeps with her patients as a reason of contention, which is like, again, when you say it aloud, it is one of those things that makes you grit your teeth and just go, ugh. Because it's gross. It was a gross thing that she did.
Yep.
And it was to
And
Davin.
it will never not be gross. No matter what we think or feel about Porter, the fact that she slept with a patient is not going to be forgiven or forgotten for us as viewers.
And the show doesn't forget it either.
The show's not trying to get you to do that.
I need Johnny on his game. Potter's just a distraction, the kind of girl who
sleeps with her patients.
Fuses a bomb to the chest of the most dangerous man in Westerly. She could get Johnny hurt.
Won't stop him from helping her. Even her asshole dad couldn't knock the hero out of him.
The relationship stuff in this episode just keeps getting sharper and sharper because Davin and Dutch start this wrestling one another. The joke is you think it's a sexy scene, but then it's not.
Yeah, no,
and you know it's not. But
you know it's not. But
they're double entendre.
They're playing with that, and the fact that like Davin pulls on that even further and more directly, and then Turin is addressing it too. It's just like everybody's watching that space.
Seeing that you're keeping it platonic, huh? But they're not, but they are.
Dutch is just like, I can't deal with that. I'm dealing with this. But she's also seems to be entertained by Davin's jealousy. Because she doesn't shut him down. She just lets him have the digs. She doesn't entertain a response.
But she's aware what's going on. She's not naive. She's not blind to it at all.
And it doesn't feel like she's doing that to manipulate Davin. It feels like it's a part of her character flaw of she's not willing to deal with and engage in her emotions. But she's got this justification of, well, I've got to deal with Klein. That's what I'm doing now.
I'm focused on the mission. If I think about my life outside of that, then it compromises the mission.
I haven't got time to fall apart.
We're in a relationship. We're married. We've been in a relationship for a very long time. And so one would think, well, we know each other so well. You can have an open and honest and healthy communicative relationship at all times. But that's just not how it works. There are always hurdles. There are always barriers. Even for people like us who have been together for a very long time now and we're married, it can be so difficult to open up in some moments, to rip that Band-Aid off, to say the things that are being unsaid.
It requires you to be honest with yourself.
And vulnerable. And hoping that the other person is willing to be vulnerable and open and honest too. And that's the key to Killjoys to me, is they know how to live in that space. They know how to do that, and they know how to make it fun, but they know how to make it true. Because I don't feel, and you could tell me otherwise, I never feel awkward cringe at this stuff in Killjoys like I do when other shows attempt this. I never feel myself going, oh no, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see them awkwardly try and rekindle whatever. It never hits that nerve for me.
No, it hasn't fully hit that for me in a way where it's like, oh no, stop. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, what's going to happen?
I find it just exhilarating the ways that they keep examining these relationships and these dynamics. That when Turin says, keeping it platonic, when it comes to Davin and Dutch, that's the show having a wink at the audience. It's like, yeah, we know what we're doing. We're doing the will they, won't they. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Let's not play around. And they know it too. I really
like how playful they are with that at the moment, because I've trust in the show, because they did the love triangle thing in an interesting way last season. So the will they, won't they-ness of Dutch and Davin right now, I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. I really hope that it's not like the rest of the show. Dulce is back, and who would have guessed she's being unethical? What? She's going behind the Nine's back to do something shady? What?
My jaw. I'm still trying to pick up my jaw from that. I couldn't believe that. She looks like a trustworthy individual.
So,
with nice feelings.
All the time.
All the time. Happy feelings all the time.
We get introduced to the idea of this special school. Prodigy.
Not Star Trek Prodigy.
Which collects like the smartest kids from Westerly and recruits them into this program, which, you know, the people on Westerly are led to believe that it, you know, is a chance for an advancement for their children.
A betterment.
Yes. An opportunity. And Jake's dad is not keen to let him go.
Because the Killjoys are assigned to take some of these children to this school. And there's one in particular that they're having trouble finding, especially after all of the bombings in Old Town.
Yeah, it's like, well, their house was rubble. His dad used to be a miner, and that connects to, you know, previous
things that we had. Even the last episode was talking about the mining and things. And then also our characters literally have to look after miners as in children. Nice little play around with that in the episode too. They make jokes about that. They keep calling the children little people because Dutch did one time and then everyone adopts that, which is very good. They judge her at the beginning,
He's like,
but then they adopt
children,
it.
Dutch?
But then by the end, they're all called little people because of that, which I didn't appreciate that joke until just now. Like, I acknowledged it in my mind, but now I'm saying it aloud. I'm like, that's great. That's such a funny thing. It's unsaid. Like, no one said, oh, we call them little people now. It's just a thing that caught on.
Yep. And it's to make Dutch annoyed. Like, that's the purpose of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It was funny that she did it, and we're going to make
and
fun
we
of
called
her
her out
by,
on it.
by
Now we're gonna
continuing
just
to do it,
Now we're going to do it. And they have to find this kid and basically take him from his home to take him to this weird hoity-toity
glorified
school.
kidnapping.
And the brother, so the little kid had a brother that went to the school, and the reveal of it is, we don't see these children again. They never come back. They never see us again. They're basically stealing our children, and we don't know what happens to them.
He points out how much the company keeps on taking from the Westerlies. And it was another point where it's just like, he has a point, but he's also kind of wrong. And he's kind of an asshole. He's all of these things at once, and he's just there for a single scene.
That's it. Just a single scene, but there was so much loaded in that. There's this abusive father angle that gets Davin's hackles up, which we know has been a sore point for him throughout the series and has been what motivated
for Johnny, and that gets used later in a very important way.
But then it also hits on the haves and have-nots that Killjoys loves to explore, because although this man is not the kindest person, he has a righteous anger that you can get behind, because he is in have-nots and the haves are taking the children away. His son that's now being taken is clearly not suitable for this school. Like, this kid is not the brightest bulb, so why are they taking him?
You're still getting your letters mixed up.
And we've just been bombed to hell. They've put a wall around us. We're not allowed to leave. And now they're taking our children.
The last thing that I have. But a part of why you're like, well, a part of why I'm like, does he deserve his child? Because he's treating Jake like an object. It's, I've lost everything. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you. Not, I want to protect you.
But that's one of the examples of tragedies that happen from oppression. These people have been rounded up and put into a box, and they shake the box and scare the living fuck out of everyone. And what do you expect to happen? These familial relationships change. I mean, even with Johnny and Davin at the beginning of the show, their way of looking at each other as brothers was very, very, very fraught. Like, sometimes it would be positive, sometimes it would be abusive and toxic. They even make a joke out of it in this episode where he stabbed me in the back. I stabbed him a little, and it was in the front.
Yeah.
Come on. But, like, I thought that scene was quite striking with the dad because, he's an asshole. He looks like at the surface level, the black and white, this is an abusive father that we must take the children away from. But then when you put it in the context of what they are existing through, you can understand to an extent why this has become the case. And this education system, you can already feel, as does the father, that this is some weird agenda from the higher-ups, from the elites.
He knows not to trust the 9.
And why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you at any point? I mean, there's still, their house was bombed. The mother died. And now the children are getting taken away. It's just despicable. And this is what the show is so good at with its world building, where now we get to find out how education works in the show. And you're not surprised at how disgusting it is.
It's not meant to work. It's illegal the way that Dulcea is doing it forcing the information in a specific field into these children's head.
But also the
Heads.
the method before that is legal, and the standard of like we pick and choose who gets the right.
We'll get in there safely, you have my word.
Doesn't matter. As soon as they leave Westerly, they forget all about us.
Been 3 years since his brother went to Prodigy.
What's the company gonna take from us next?
Dulcea returns, and she's back here. She's got a scheme on the go. She's using these children for something. We reveal that it's this genetic bank that she has. She's going to have this future generation of people for whatever nefarious purposes. We can talk about like what she does in that way, but how did you feel when it came to how she is in this episode? Because last time we saw her, she was like Machiavellian. Like she had just basically won everything.
But now she's at a disadvantage. She gets shot.
By Dutch.
It's great. It's just like Dutch realizes that no. She has the air of all of these things, but if she did have access to those things right now, she would be using them. And she's not using anything. She came with like a low-rung bodyguard that has a heart condition. Like, that's not her bringing her A game.
And she is trying to put on this face of I have everything under control because I'm smart. Do this. And then when she's told, no, don't do that, it's obviously a trap, she just doubles down because she's better.
Yeah, I'm know
superior.
Best. Everybody should listen to me. I'm the one that's in charge.
And what happened to the school just further like highlights that she is taking the quick, easy way to get the results. Because that's what's happening in this episode with her, especially, is she thinks you do this, it's simple and it's done. She doesn't give things much thought. She just wants the results now.
Occam's razor all of the time for Dulcea.
She's the opposite of Klein. Klein is like patient, playing the long game, doing whatever that is. And he seems very content, but Dulcea, she wants it now. She says, this is the way it needs to be. It's the way it needs to be. It's going to happen the way I say it.
I'm not going to wait for a whole family to die up. I'm going to die off. I'm going to use a genetic bomb to kill all of them right now.
And then I'm going to have what seems like a long-term plan thing. I'm just going to speed through it because I need it now. Why do I need it now? I don't know. Like,
I want it now.
I want it now.
And because I want it, it needs to happen.
She is the epitome of I don't need, I want. And Klein is the opposite. He is the epitome of I don't want, I need.
Yes.
And that's what makes them such interesting antagonists that we haven't seen together at all. We just know that they work together, but we haven't seen them together. But they are vastly different to one another. They contrast each other greatly.
But you get why they would find each other and why Klein would see her as a necessary asset.
One of the things that is just so awesome about Dulcea is she loves to push Dutch's buttons.
The hate flirting.
The superiority, the fact that she's so classy and yet so crass.
Her Yelena and
calling her by her name. Yeah, calling her by her actual name just to kick it in, just to kick her down.
Flaunt, I know who you are. I have power over you.
And even when it looks like things are going bad for Dulcea and that Dutch has the upper hand, she still has to twist the knife and just give a big smile and say, you may not like it, but you're an ally now. Even then, she's the type that says, I didn't lose.
Always twisting the knife.
I didn't lose, I just won. That's Dulcea. When Dutch did this last season, Dulcea was like,
I meant to lose.
Dulcea goes, okay, you won this time. And then as soon as Dutch left, she's like, I want to know all about her. I'm going to make this to my advantage. She's so funny as a character. And the performance, it's got the right level of camp. Like, she's the most campy performance.
Oh, no contest.
But you need her to be. She's like one of the 9. You need the aristocracy to be this.
And it gives nice contrast to Porter and the way that she is in contrast to Dulcea, even though they grew up together.
The children were killed by the data
Gooified.
They were in cryogenic pods, being force fed in through like a Neuralink. This all of the information to make them elite and smart and do it quick. Compressed learning is what they say it is, and they all get fried and turned into goo because of the extreme amount of data that surged through because of Klein. The last thing that happened from Red 17, the last transmission, was from there, and it basically killed all of them except for one, except for Jake's older brother.
I have a question, which I assume, having watched the show, you might already know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more for me, which is, did Klein decide to send that message? Was it an automatic thing that happened when they got rid of Red 17?
Did he send it?
Mm-hmm. Did he know what was going to happen? And did he do it on purpose? Because was it him trying to clean house? Did he know that it was going to melt those children's brains and end the program?
Did he know that the children were plugged in and learning in this way? Because it was supposed to be a genetic bank. That's what she said, right? We are supposed to...
Seed bank. Genetic seed bank.
A genetic seed bank. That's what it's supposed to be there for. So was Dulcea, through her own nefarious means, responsible for this? Or did Klein know? We'll have to see. Did Klein send the message?
He was culpable for the death of these 2 children.
Yeah, and did Klein send the message
and one old lady
in the premiere? Because when he put his hands in the goo, he was doing a whole bunch of things in front of Davin. So was that the moment where he sent that off? Because he gets tased like a minute later. So we have a very knowledgeable timeline of what Klein was doing on Red 17 before it was destroyed and before he got put into a Kleinsicle, made a Kleinsicle himself. What do you get out of the seed bank idea as well? Like, this is them saying that something's coming for the quad and we need to prepare for it. Yet again, this is another example of that.
I found it very interesting when Dutch labels it, when Dulcea reveals that idea of the genetic seed bank of, well, you make a seed bank for one of 2 reasons, war or winter. What one is it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that even having that question gives us insight into Dutch, the world of the quad, and Dulcea also to an extent, because she's just like, no, I'm not going to reveal that.
No, I'm not. It's not. I tell you all of my secrets. I just give you a hint. That's what this is. Are you stupid? Don't try and trick me right now. There's a lot of winking and playfulness.
You can't manipulate me, even though I'm basically suffocating. Even though Dutch is able to carry Dulcea with like the reduced oxygen.
I got you. Shallow breaths. Don't you dare fantasize about this later.
We mentioned that Klein uploaded something. What was it that he uploaded? That fried all of these children's brains.
Well, it was the last transmission, which was ahead of schedule according to Dulcea. Like there's a pattern to these things, and Klein's off that now. But we know that it has now been encoded into Olin's brain, whatever the last transmission was. And he now gets these headaches and gets these flashes. And the flash is very similar to one of the scenes that Davin saw when he was being green gooed at Red 17. But slightly different in a different perspective.
Well, I felt like they're different memories entirely. Like, not just different perspective, but like I think it's Klein's memories because they're so focused on him specifically. And they look like different events. Like, so what we see is on Arkin, someone steps on a patch of something and then the green goo starts bubbling out of it like oil. And Klein is dressed up in his full like scientist gear and he's like he's like draining the goo, and then we hard cut to someone like screaming and banging on some glass in what looks like a test chamber, and then Dutch from behind in the big furry woolly gear that she was in the premiere in the memories, running away into the snow. That's what you get. These are different to what we saw in the premiere.
Oh, yes, but it feels like it's the same day, same location. Like it is still in what we assume is Arkin.
Oh yeah, and it's also like, it's also one of those things in which they are giving you more without telling you anything, because this is daytime. Klein is in a different outfit. There's no Scarback monks anywhere. This is focusing solely on the green goo itself, while the flashback the memories that Davin saw, the green goo was present because it was bleeding out of people rather than it being extracted or put into people. Like, it's telling you a different tale, but it's still telling you what feels like the same story, which is good. I like it, and it's a nice way of extending this out and making sure that this doesn't feel like a complete throwaway element that they have forgotten about. And it's nice, like, and this child who lives is the older brother of the one that they have, because that's how narratives work.
Yep, he's the one that was spared.
And he's a dumbass. Like, his brother is a dumbass, too. He just thinks he's really clever, but he's actually a dumb child who doesn't understand. Yeah, he's still a child.
He's still a little person.
And because they have the younger brother who's been abandoned by the older brother because the older brother had to go off and become a hero, they tie that and parallel that with Johnny and Davin's relationship. Both of these characters have quite heartfelt conversations with these brothers. Johnny and Davin have their time with both or one of them, and it really is great at how they haven't let go of that relationship with Johnny and Davin, because we've been so focused on we've got to save Davin, or we've got to focus on the green goo, or we've got to have a warrant of the week, that the very, very sensitive relationship that these brothers have hasn't gone away. It just hasn't been the focus of episodes, but it is still here. Johnny got stabbed last season. It's still raw. Like, Johnny got stabbed, and although they make a joke about it, it stems from something that still is meaningful to the both of these brothers. And Johnny gets his big speech to Olin about this, and he tells him, like, you have this opportunity to do something that basically my brother didn't do, so don't fuck it up.
Don't be like him. And the fact that Davin has continued that cycle of turning down those opportunities to be better and do better for Johnny, and still in the wake of Johnny being like, I'm done fixing things.
It's just really good stuff, huh? Like, You're talking about this, and I'm just thinking about the scene again, and I'm thinking about how these characters have been set up and how they've changed over time, and that these elements can be satisfyingly gone over in an episode, but they're not done. Like, how does Johnny feel about Davin at the end of this episode feels complete, and yet you also have the sense that it is going to be an ongoing thing for probably the rest of the show. This is the tricky... This is the thing that Killjoys is also very good at. The mixing pot of episodic and serialized storytelling.
It'll deal with the meat of the situation. I was fine not seeing Alvis. And then he comes back at the end of this episode. And I'm like, yeah, no.
They talked about him.
That was enough.
They talked about
how... He comes
how...
back, he has a line about his sexy robes, and I'm like,
Well, it was upsetting because you didn't react at all to that. I did. I was like shocked because they had it was the same flow in discussion of, hey, do you mind looking after this mentally disturbed child? Yeah, I can do that. I have sexy robes. It's like, whoa. Can we not mix the looking after mentally ill child and your sexy flirting right now? I don't... Whoa, boy.
I don't appreciate this.
I don't mind Alvis being in this episode because now we know that the monks are an asset that's actively working to help us. And I thought the shot of the monastery itself was really nice. Like the exterior shot of it was quite gorgeous to look at. But Alvis is there at the end just to say, hey, ongoing story thread will continue on. It is very artificial in that way. And you could say the same for the Klein thing at the end. Where's Klein at? We don't know. We haven't seen him. And this is just to show us...
And Fancy's just decided to work with him.
We got that feeling from the premiere when he was frozen and Fancy was standing over him. We thought that he was going to break him out then, but it didn't happen. And now we get to see the continuation of that scene. And why do you think they waited to this episode?
I really don't know. It felt like, well, we've got to have these things happen first.
I think it's because this episode deals with family so much. And Klein is family. And this is the most like, okay, Klein did this thing. And so we are picking up on the trail. We've left him physically present away for a couple of episodes to make it more exciting when he comes back. But yeah, it is a continuation of the scene from the premiere. They kill all of these people and then they fly off in their ship. And they're going to where? Where's Klein and Fancy going?
Davin and Johnny's home planet.
Which goes back to family. Which goes back to home.
Road trip.
They're going on a road trip. That's what's so exciting about it. Klein is like eerily cold yet again.
I love road trips.
I love road trips. And keep a pin in that. Keep a pin in that because I can't wait to tell you the name of the next episode. So, on our rating system though, what would we rate Schooled? Yum being bad and Yum Yum being good.
I still give it a yum yum.
Yum yum.
Because the things that it does well, and the things that I don't like about it are not the episode's fault. Like it's doing its best. It's more good than bad. It is like mostly fine, but I'm also fine with it being fine.
I gave this episode a yum yum.
Yum yum.
I didn't have too many big complaints or issues with it. It's just one of those preference things of it hits a lot of things that I enjoy, but I wouldn't say this was a stellar episode.
It didn't strike a chord, but it wasn't off key.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. So the next episode of Killjoys we shall be discussing is called Meet the Parents. Any thoughts on what that could be?
Oh, well,
A few different avenues that could be.
Yeah, like I imagine that it's them going to the planet, but it's also like, isn't their mum
which planet?
Davin's and Johnny's home planet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, the mum's dead, and the dad is like dead to them. So I'm like, what parents? Because I don't feel like it's going to be the Jacobys lineage that we're talking about.
Who else could it be?
I hope that they're touching on Dutch's parents, because we got that like one mention of her dad, and that's been it.
Who else is on Lucy right now?
Porter.
That's another one. That's what I like about this too, is like we have several avenues of what this episode could be going to, because each one of the people involved have some family backstory that we're interested in knowing more about or seeing. And like we said, Klein is physically going to the home world of the Jacobys. What will that entail? Will we see it? Who knows? Will they find out about it? Because they don't even know where Klein is. They're still left aghast of what happened to him. So we'll have to wait and see and find out. Everyone, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. You can find us on all of those social medias, yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. Where else can people find us, and how can people talk to us, Rachel?
They can send an email to yumyumpod@gmail.com. or sign up to our Patreon, where you get access to our lovely little home on the internet that's behind a paywall, which is our Discord server.
Make sure to rate and review our podcast, as well as share it around with all of your friends, family, and foes out there. It would be very much appreciated. But we're going to go off now because Rachel has some compressed learning ahead of her.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you.
No.
But Rachel, why did you think the cryopod's been in the room the whole time? We're actually called yumyumpod for a very, very specific reason. It's because we have a pod in the room, like a cryopod.
Get fucked.